guys, coming at you with another care sheet video on the penguin tetra. Now these guys are really pretty. They don't get a lot of attention that they really should. So when you're at the pet store next time, check them out. A lot of these times these guys are $1.99 or even the 5 for 5 specials. So you can get a school of them for relatively a cheap price. So you want to make sure that you are getting a school of them because they are schooling fish, which is 6 or more. So you can easily get 10 of them for $10, and that's real cheap for 10 fish. So let's get into the care of these guys. 4 to 5 years on these guys for the lifespan, sometimes more depending on the care that you provide them. Size is going to be about 3 inches, usually more around 2 to 2.5 inches, but 3 is sometimes reached. Certain requirements are met and everything like that for the fish. Next, the temperature. Now this is huge, 64 to 82. Huge range of temperature. These guys are real hardy when it comes to any type of tetra, so that's a good thing because they do tolerate a colder temperature and a warmer temperature. But just remember, if you have the temperature set at a certain temperature, make sure that you aren't changing it. And if you are, I'd only do probably about a degree or 2 an hour is usually the ideal situation to increase or decrease the temperature. Next, another one, pH. 6.0 to 8.0, it's a huge range, pretty much anybody's water they can tolerate. Now I've kept them in the 8.0 I have, and I know other hobbyists have kept them down at 6.2, 6.4 with not a single problem. These guys aren't omnivores, so they are going to eat plant matter, meat, anything. One of the favorite foods would definitely be bloodworms and brine shrimp, but they're pretty much going to eat any kind of flake foods, freeze-dried, anything really. They're really not a picky eater, especially in the schools. They're going to devour things as soon as you put it in. So because I recommend putting them in a school of 6 or more, I recommend doing a 29-gallon tank or larger. That way they can get the ideal swimming space and have enough room for them to swim around and not bump into each other and kind of stay away from sometimes maybe a pecking order and aggression between the schooling of the fish. Now these guys are overall peaceful, but sometimes you will have them pecking at each other to kind of establish dominance and whoever leads the school. So these guys are crazy when it comes to breeding. Now sexing these guys is not easy. It's just like most of the other tetras out there. The female is just going to be plumper, but these guys are significantly plumper. You're going to notice it. It's going to be a squared off belly almost, and the males are still going to stay relatively streamlined and torpedo shaped looking from above. Now, what's crazy about these guys is when they've bred. Now, I recommend doing it in a 20 long with a bunch of finely leaf plants. Usually moss works real well because they are an egg scatter, but when these guys scatter the eggs, it is crazy. Now, these guys, now get this, for a tetra, anywhere from 800 to 2,000 eggs. Now, that's huge. That's how you can tell when the female is ready because, like I said, they're going to be huge. Now you can see why. 800 to 2,000 eggs. I've even seen reports of 3,000, 4,000, sometimes 5,000 eggs in a breeding. Now what makes these guys unique is that you want to lower the pH to about 5.5 and the temperature around 77 to 78 degrees when breeding them. Now what's crazy is you have to usually do an immediate water change after the breeding ritual, after you take the parents out, because the male actually releases so much milk into the water to fertilize the eggs that it actually fouls the water. So you want to make sure that you're doing almost a 50% water change, but do your best not to disturb the eggs. Now what is nice is these guys are going to be hatching within 18 hours. It's probably one of the quickest ones I've seen for the tetra family. Now these guys, like I said, under 18 hours, usually around 11 to 16 hours they're hatching. They're free swimming within 2 to 3 days, and they're eating the finest of the finest foods. And I mean, when I say finest, I mean the smallest microorganism that you can feed them, because they are really small, really sensitive, and a lot of times, unfortunately, because there are such a high population of fish, you're only going to receive probably about 20% to 30% of them actually live. Just because if you have feeding of that many fish, you're going to pollute the water real quick, you're going to have to do some crazy water changes, and even if you have a couple die off, it's going to foul the water again rapidly. So that is the only downfall of these guys having such large breeding capacities, that they foul the water because they do such a big breeding of it. So I hope that helps. For tank setup, I recommend doing any type of plant driftwood and rock caves, just like their natural habitat. They are from South America, so keep that in mind. They are from a slower moving river, so you want to keep that in mind when you're having power heads hooked up. If you do, I wouldn't recommend it. Just your regular hang on the back filter, a canister filter is going to do fine for these guys. And they usually run, like I said, about $1.99, and then they're usually the 5 for 5 fish that you can find a lot of local pet stores or even the big chain guys. So I hope this helps you guys with your penguin tetras if you're looking for them. If you're looking for something new, they are pretty because they are silver with a jet black going right down the side of them. They're just pretty to look at when you put them in the school. So I hope this helps. If you have any requests that you'd like to make, please post it down below in the comments or message me mafishguy1@gmail.com, and I will try my hardest to get to your video. So I hope that helps. Check out my website mafishguy.com. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.